It's easy to get caught up with the fear-mongering of carbs since they've been so vilified in popular media. I've also gone through a period of my life which I've shied away from these macronutrients. Yet, nutritional science still believes the right carbs need to be included in our dietary intake in order to live healthy lives. It's time to dig into the truth to understand the science and how our bodies can optimally use carbohydrates. It's time for your total fitness journey. Hey there, Coach Rick for X3TF, where our focus is educating you on the trifecta of exercise, nutrition, and mind-body to achieve total fitness. Now, this episode on carbs is quite in-depth because this is foundational information you'll reference to build your nutrition plans throughout your life. Okay, the debate on carbohydrates is not as black and white as some of the arguments make it out to be. Humans are physiologically similar, right? From the outside, yes. The inside tells a different story. If you look at the bone structure and density, there are many differences inside our body we don't see like the outside ones, such as hair color or eye color. So it stands to reason that how our individual body's ability to use carbs is going to differ based on our genes. The Food and Nutrition Board of the Institute of Medicine recommends the calories intake ranges be comprised of 45 to 65% carbohydrates. Now, we typically classify carbohydrates as simple or complex, which are respectively simple sugars and starches. Once eaten, carbs are broken down to their simplest form, the monosaccharide level, or simple sugars. This is the way that the body can absorb it to be used as fuel or stored as glycogen in the muscle and liver cells. Monosaccharides are the only absorbable form of carbohydrates. This is why some people eat a banana before a workout. Fruit is a monosaccharide and can be quickly absorbed by the body to fuel workouts. Naturally occurring sugars, like those found in fruit or milk, are generally considered healthier options because the foods that contain natural sugars also include important nutrients such as vitamins and fiber. Foods that use a lot of added sugar for taste can be detrimental to your health and make any food exponentially higher in calories. Added sugars include cane, brown coconut, date, and turbinado sugars. All these foods are higher in calories, but they don't necessarily fill you up any more than a healthier option. Hence the term empty calories. Here's where the conflict occurs. Our brain is interested in feeling satiety, while our taste buds crave flavor. Both can conflict with our body's nutritional needs if we do not have a firm grasp on what to avoid. Remember, carbs are broken down to their simplest structures to be absorbed in the body for energy use, period. When carbs are ingested, we trigger what is called an insulin response, in which the pancreas releases the hormone insulin. Look at insulin as a mechanism to transport the glucose our bodies need to the appropriate areas, muscle cells, liver for storage, or even our brains that require glucose. Eating constantly more than our bodies need will keep insulin levels elevated and can desensitize the body's receptors. That could lead to what is known as insulin resistance. Insulin will then build up in the bloodstream. This can lead to a bad cycle. Eating too much can cause weight gain that leads to insulin resistance that can cause the body to store more fat and lead to more weight gain. Insulin resistance can also lead to increases in bad cholesterol and can increase the risk for becoming diabetic. Now, to avoid these negative outcomes, here are some key areas to focus on with your carbohydrate intake. And if you're unsure about any of this information, seek out the advice of your doctor or a local registered dietitian. First, limit sugar intake. The Department of Health and Human Services recommends added sugars should be limited to 10% of total caloric intake. Now, the American Heart Association, however, suggests limiting added sugar to 6 added teaspoons for women and 9 for men. For my own diet, I keep my total sugar intake, natural and added ones, down to less than 50 grams a day. Again, this includes the natural sugars and veggies and fruits I consume. I do this because I want to ensure I do not needlessly spike my insulin on a regular basis and limit any risk to becoming insulin resistant. Besides, I recognize added sugar as empty calories. With that said, always check the labels for added sugar and keep them to a minimum. Make sure you prioritize natural sugars occurring in fruits over added ones. Fruit still retains its fiber and provides macronutrients like vitamin C. 2. Fiber, 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 fiber. They're compounds from indigestible portions of plants and vegetables. fiber is either soluble or insoluble. Both offer benefits. Insoluble fiber is not easily digested by intestinal bacteria, while soluble can be processed by bacteria living in the large intestines. Benefits of fiber include reduction of cardiovascular disease since it binds to the cholesterol particles to prevent their absorption and helps remove them from the body. It can also reduce insulin spikes. Fiber promotes a healthy digestive system and can prevent related diseases like colon cancer. Fiber helps with weight loss through its delaying of the gastric emptying of the stomach and promoting the overall feeling of fullness. Now, the recommended daily allowance for fiber is 28 grams per day for women and 35 grams per day for men. If you're not used to fiber, I would recommend scaling up over a month rather than all at once to limit any stomach or digestive discomfort. For me, I keep my fiber between 38 grams to 50 grams a day, even when I practice a keto lifestyle. I find it is very much possible to eat high fiber if you're mindful in what you eat. The key word here is eat. The reason I avoid juicing is because you remove the fiber and the natural sugar count exponentially rises to get one small juice. Furthermore, since dietary fiber is not digested, it doesn't go against our net carb count. Simply subtract your dietary fiber count from your carb total to see what your net carb intake is for the day. Okay, the next one, legumes and beans pack a protein punch. They're in a category of plants that includes peas, peanuts, lentils, and beans, a closer relative. Take home-cooked black beans. 1 cup is 227 calories, has less than a gram of fat, 40 grams of carbs, 15 whopping grams of fiber, and 15 grams of protein. My favorite legume is edamame. It is keto-friendly if eaten sparingly. Half of a cup is 100 calories with 2 grams of fat, 12 grams of carbs, 4 grams of dietary fiber, 9 grams of protein, and 420 milligrams of potassium. Eat grains in moderation and prioritize the unrefined versions. I used to live in Japan and loved eating bowls of white rice for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Fast forward a number of years and I know for my dietary needs, white rice is something I need to reserve for limited occasions. If you incorporate starches in your diet, make sure you prioritize the ones that are less refined. White rice will tantalize the taste buds, but also spike your blood sugar. Same with white potatoes. Better options are whole grains and complete starches that haven't been refined, like unmilled rice, think brown rice, quinoa, or sweet potatoes. They will provide more fiber. Now, if you eat grains every day, this will make a big difference. However, if you do not suffer from any health-related issues, having 1 serving of your favorite white rice or potatoes once a week might not impact your long-term goals. I'd rather see people lessen the grain intake altogether than pretend that 1 bowl of brown rice versus white rice every so often will greatly impact their health. Okay, next, skip the extra bread. This is a painful one. I love bread, but bread is processed, even whole grain versions or the low glycemic versions requiring freezing. Now, I'm not telling anyone to cut it out of their lifestyle because bread can have a cultural significance, but moderation here is key. Like some more processed grains, bread can spike your insulin levels. Besides, calorie for calorie, there's not a lot of nutrition here compared to legumes, unrefined grains, and veggies. Hey, my honest opinion, peanut butter tastes best on bread, so I get it. I eat a low-carb bread a couple times a week. For me, moderation is key. Okay, next and one of the most important. Prioritize vegetable intake over other carbs. Most vegetables are lower in carbs with higher amounts of fiber and other nutrients. I'm on keto and I eat a ton of veggies that make up my carb count and more importantly, my fiber count. Here are my personal favorites with the macronutrient breakdown. Spinach, this is my go-to veggie. It is great for a quick salad or to fill me up with a dab of heart-healthy olive oil. You can even throw it in a smoothie for that extra benefit. Brussels sprouts. You need to learn how to make these because these little guys are nutritional powerhouses. Now, they taste way better if you bake them rather than use them steamed in a pouch version. Next, bok choy. It only takes just a few minutes to saute each side. Use some avocado or sesame oil. Saute on both sides for 2 minutes. If you've never tried bok choy, it also is a good boiling vegetable. Bok choy is packed full of nutrients. Broccoli. This is a mainstay for many homes. Now, fresh is always better, but I also personally love the frozen kind as well. I can just boil or slowly microwave a serving. but be careful using a microwave. Don't nuke your veggies to death. Carrots. Last but not least, some folks avoid them because they are higher in natural sugar than cruciferous veggies. However, carrots pack more than 100% of the recommended daily allowance for vitamin A and about 40% of the RDA for calcium. On paper, we should eat nothing but vegetables. The reality is we all have different tastes and there are other foods we want and need to eat. We must acknowledge that we're not robots. Just remember, processed carbs are plentiful and cheap. Potato chips, bread, and fries. Avoid these most of the time. Prioritize health over taste and choose veggies as your main carbs for most meals. Try to limit the sauces and other things that you might be tempted to put on them. These are high in calories and likely offer very little nutrients. Now, I hope this episode has provided guidance on how to approach carbs in a healthier fashion to make a huge difference in your health. Remember, don't wish for it, work for it. Before you go, please hit that little subscribe button and notification bell to keep up to date on X3TF's programming that looks to help you achieve total fitness.